Alright, no. Wait. Oh, I thought it's a new guy. Alright, let me explore this place a little bit more. Maybe there are new characters I can talk to that I haven't noticed yet. Selling in game time, I grow carrots and more. Liliana Lily. Hmm. Potatoes, 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 fastest harvest, lots of loot. Message Farmer Zenek on the forums. Wait, I can observe the guild house? Professor Locke's binoculars lay on a barrel. I turn my binoculars towards the guild house. I notice a lonely figure on the upper level of the house. She was sitting in a room in a dark corner. That's the outlaw, right? Her female outlaw skin looked like a premium item. It was the player Sheriff Billy was after. She was hiding in the guild house. Yeah, I met her, the outlaw. I have two more data that I can unlock. What should I do then? Oh, I can speak to him again? Great, let's do this. Ben smiled when he saw me. Howdy. Ask about Liane. Tell me what you know about Liane. Benbow says, I hadn't seen her before. She wanted to know if the sheriff has money and kept asking these personal questions about him. It was weird. And you'll ask, what business did she have asking me? I've no idea. But I quickly brushed her off and told her nothing. I'm getting back to work now, Gamedec. Alright, if I use sleeves, will he hate me? I don't know. I won't bother you, Ben. Have a nice day. Howdy. Wait, I can interact with Jolly Jumper? The animal's eyes were shut and there was a small note floating above it. Oh, yeah, I've done this before. Charger, regenerative slumber. Please do not wake. Alright, maybe. Wait, Benbow's missing. Maybe I should wait for him to return and talk to him again, right? Alright, what is it that you do for work? Benbow says, I stack bundles at a designated spot. I'm gonna stack them into a pyramid. I want to get the Great Pyramid of Bundles achievement. No one's got it yet. It's supposed to be impossible. I have to see for myself. Time to stack another bundle. Have him wait. I made myself look determined. Hold on, not so fast. Let's talk first. Get me? Alright, don't get mad. I won't bother you, Ben. Have a nice day. Howdy. Alright, so I've exhausted all possible dialogue for Benbow. Alright, I'll just I'll just I'll just take a guess then what the deduction wants me to do. And I assume it wants me to find someone responsible for the actual problem, not the symptom. If it's the actual problem, then yeah, the sheriff is the issue. I'm sure of it. This sheriff, aka Mr. Lebsky. There was a mysterious Gamedec waiting for me in the graveyard. I needed to pay him a visit. Alright. Oh yeah, not yet. Let me use my cheater profession to do this. Week. People used to carve names and the dates of birth and death in stone. Now we had holographic tombstones. Search the grave. I noticed a pouch. It was heavy. I opened it and saw quite a lot of gold coins. Take the coins. They were no use to the dead. Mysterious player says, "Welcome Gamedec." Wawipopo says, "Hi, do I need to perform a ritual or exorcism to make you reveal yourself?" Right, let me exit Guardian Angel mode. Wait, how do I do that? I think it's here. It's a woman. Wait, what? It's Kenjo? Kenjo is a guy, right? But now it's a woman. Wait, the question is Kenjo a man or a woman in Realium? I'm not asking about the avatar in the Virtualium, but in reality. What is Kenzo? A man or a woman? Kenjo says, "It's me, Kenjo." We met in Twisted and Perverted. I was conducting my first case there. Wawipopo says, right, we've met. I remember you were chasing some crooks. Yeah, he was chasing a group of trolls, I think, that costed him a tournament victory or a match victory. And because of that, his sponsors dropped him. Well, he decided to quit the game because the trolls pissed him off. Ask what he's doing in harvest time. What are you doing here anyway? Following the cheaters? Kenjo says yes and no. Remember those chicks in TNP, Knight's Code members? I took notice because they were talking about the Tree of Knowing. Ah, they are here now and they are asking around about it. It's important. I've met the local sheriff too, and I'm sure he cheats, and I hate cheaters. So I laid low, hidden, and started snooping around. Then you showed up, so I thought we might join forces. Tell me more about your investigation, Ken. Did you manage to find the cheaters that spoiled your game? Online, yes, but you know, Chief, it's not the same as catching someone in Realium. I tried to use this program, Investigator, but it's not that easy. So I followed them around and tried to find out where they live or drink. And so step by step, program by program, deduction by deduction, I've become a Gamedec. Wise men say the only constant is change. Goodabats is a cool game, but very demanding. A Gamedec's profession is less stressful. Kenjo says, that's right, I just miss the money. So what's the deal with the native skin? Why? It's just a Gamedec's arsenal. Hiding by using a different gender, pretending to be someone else. I'm surprised you don't do it, Chief. The skin is from the Pumpkins and Ghosts event. It's invisible. It costs a lot. I coupled it with the Guardian Angel, but it didn't work. You look good, Ken. You made me feel the true Wild West spirit. Kenjo says, Charisma is my middle name, Chief. Wawipopo says, you said you had some information concerning my case. Yes, I think there's something fishy going on. The orange folk use a cheat that helps them get loot boxes. Go on. The sheriff, that Billy guy, uses a similar cheat to win jewels. Have you got any proof? Kenjo says I overheard him talk about that cheat in a conversation with Ak. I don't have proof, but why would he talk about it for no reason? It makes sense. Kenjo says, sadly, I don't have any substantial evidence. I'd like to get some. I know that you want to help the orange folk with their problem, Chief. I want to help you. If I were to pick the prime suspect, it would be the sheriff. That's what my instinct tells me. I've heard that is a big part of being a Gamedec. Wawipopo says, what you're saying makes sense. Kenjo says, I saw that you closed a deal with Billy, and now you're obliged to do the job for him, but maybe it's a good idea to get him in Realium, find out who he really is. Get the sheriff. Apparently, the sheriff has started thinking he owns High Rock, forgetting in the process that it's just a game. He's behind the problems of the Orange Folk. Somebody should take that gold star and shove it down his throat. What? Ending? What does it mean? Ending of the game? Wawipopo says, yes, we need to get to him. Kenjo says, fudging some. Wawipopo says, I've got the investigator. That program tracks people down in Realium. You just need to. Kenjo says, get in physical contact with the avatar of the person you are looking for and hold them for a while. I know, I've tried. There's a problem. What kind of problem? It's like a thin layer of digital air between your hand and another avatar. Maybe that's why it's easier to cheat with a speed boost here. I've searched the code, and it seems that barrier caused the birds to vanish. I mean, they are there, but cannot be seen. It's that layer of air. I think there's a safeguard against the app. Whether it was done upon player request or of their own accord, you can't just touch anyone here. That's why there's no PvP. Kenjo says, so you can't run the investigator by just touching someone. I thought it over, and I've got an idea. Do tell. Can you hook up the investigator to a bullet and then shoot someone? The bullet would get inside the avatar and stay there long enough. Wawipopo says, you are thinking like a Gamedec, Ken. That's exactly what I was thinking. Ken looked at my weapon with approval. I see you managed to get a piece. It should do. I took a bullet from the gun cylinder. I opened the investigator window and linked the program to the bullet and my avatar. Done. Kenjo says, dang, Chief, watching you work sure is something. Now you need to challenge the sheriff to a sunset duel and shoot that douche. It's getting dark. We should go. I'll assist you as an invisible protective spirit. You can thank me later. Wawipopo says, I assume I have no say in this. You'll follow me whether I want it or not. Kenjo says, I'm involved in this. I'm involved as heck in this. I want to know how it ends. Maybe I can learn something. Maybe I can help. Wawipopo says, I might need an invisible helping hand. Stay close. Kenjo says, great, lead the way, Chief. I looked at Ken. He nodded. He was ready. Return to town. Guy Sullivan says, Mr. Gamedec, quick. They're hanging Stanley. Wawipopo says, who's hanging him? The sheriff and his men, Ak and somebody else. Must be Mad Dog, right? Kenjo says, I don't recall Harvest Time having a hanging mechanic. Wawipopo, okay. Sounds of a bustling crowd were coming from the saloon. Guy Sullivan says, let's hurry up. Calm down, dude. It's just a game. Nothing is going to happen to your friend. You don't understand. It's humiliating. Kenjo says, a lynching like this can be humiliating for a kid. We should put a stop to this. Oh yeah, I forgot they are children. The noises of the crowd subsided, with only occasional shouts of, get him to the scaffold. Guy kept glancing nervously at the square in front of the saloon. It's starting. Have him take you there. Wawipopo says, lead the way. Guy Sullivan says, follow me. There's no time to lose, says Kenjo. Sheriff says, ranchers witness a triumph of law and order. There's no place for scammers or scoundrels in High Rock. Yes, it's just a game, but most players take this world seriously. It's a home, a place of respite, meditation and honest work. And this person committed fraud, lots of fraud. The truth about him will soon see the light of day. We are ever closer to the truth. Mad Dog, Ak, you know what to do with him. Kenjo says, we have to do something, Chief. Stanley's your client, isn't he? Challenge the sheriff to a duel. Stop the lynching. Wawipopo says, stop, what is this? Have you lost your mind, man? I see people abuse power everywhere, even in games. Enough. Sheriff says, well, Mr. Gamedec, defender of scammers and scoundrels. Have Ken lock Stanley out. Ken, lock the boy out. I couldn't just let him hang there. Joe locked Stanley out of the game. Enough of this humiliation. Wawipopo says, I challenge you to a duel. That's how you say it, right? The game system sent a message to the players. A duel was about to begin. Oh shit. How can I win against him if he's using a cheat? I don't use a cheat. Sheriff says, look, we've got ourselves a daredevil. I'll put a bullet in you with pleasure. No one's ever beaten me, and you won't either. The presence of the orange folk gave me comfort. I'm sure all my predecessors had fired the first shot. That's why they lost. Sensory celebrity gained the crowd's sympathy. This is fun, right? I got no answer. The sheriff showed his teeth in a mocking smile and for a moment lost his concentration. He restrained himself and focused on me again. Make eye contact with Ken. I needed the element of surprise. Ken was known to have good ideas. I nodded slightly in his direction. Ken approached the sheriff and waited for my signal. He was wearing an invisible skin, so the sheriff did not see him. The sheriff slowly lifted the edge of his coat to reveal a holstered revolver. I was breathing calmly. Everything was under control. Sensory surgeon. Look for a weakness. I looked at his eyelids, fingers, knees. Yes, his knees were shaking, almost imperceptibly. He must have been using a crappy helmet. He noticed my glance and tightened his muscles. His knees stopped shaking. He'd lost some of his confidence. Restrain my movement. The sheriff was said to be the best gunman in High Rock. I couldn't allow myself to make any unnecessary movements. The sheriff moved his hand near his mouth, as if he was about to cough. I reacted. At the same time, the sheriff reached into his breast pockets, where he had a second revolver concealed. His speed... shit. His speed was unnatural, he got me. As I fell, I fired a shot in his direction. The sheriff looked at me. The sheriff looked at the wound and locked out momentarily. I was hoping that the investigator managed to get a read on his location. Ken gave a thumbs up. The investigators in will find the sheriff even if he locked out of the game. Guy Sullivan says, "That was quite a tumble you took there, Mr. Gamedec. It's a shame Stanley didn't get to see this." Ken nodded at me and opened a deck window visible to both of us. Let's see if the investigator attached to the bullet did its job. I looked at the report. The progress bar stopped at 100%. There was an address below it. Ken Zhou says, "It's one of the mushrooms. Living quarters for the builders of Warsaw City. It's below the low city level. What a trip." He is probably getting up from the couch now. If he's figured out we tracked him down, he'll bolt. We gotta go. Want me to pick you up? Yeah, I'll be waiting at the apartment. As you wish, partner. See you there. Guy Sullivan says, "Mr. Gamedec, I'd like to talk to you some more if I may." "Sure, what's on your mind?" The boy froze. He was standing motionless and staring vacantly into the distance. The orange folk started disappearing one by one. All members of the orange folk had left the game. I needed to do the same. I hope nothing bad happens to them. They are children, right? I wonder if Lepsky is currently in the same place as the children. I opened the logout window. Wild Poppy says, "Yeehaw, partner, leaving already? Don't you want to visit your farm before you go?" It was probably The last chance to see this place. Teleported to the farm. Well, okay, I'll check the place out. Let's go. Yeehaw, says Wild Puppy. What do I want to do here? Anything interesting? Nothing, there's nothing here. Wild Puppy says yeehaw. End the game and return to the apartment. Wabi Popo says, nah Poppy, I've got more important things on my mind. I'm going back to reality, aka Realium. Wild Poppy says, I'll be seeing you then. Come back around sometime. I clicked on the logout icon. It was time to visit the sheriff in his lair. A cacophony of hard-to-identify smells hit my nostrils. Decaying plants, the smell of burning, the odor of oil. Was that what the Undercity smelled like? We were only a couple dozen meters above the ruins of Old Warsaw. I couldn't afford a new mobile, and our cars didn't travel there, so I had to take an Auro taxi. Ken was there waiting for me, standing at a mushroom's closed door. Over a century ago, police builders had lived there. Kenjo says, nice to finally meet you in person, Chief? We shook hands. Hold on, what is a mushroom? What is a mushroom? Is there any info about it in the codex? I don't think so. Alright, what is Auro cars? Auro cars are vehicles based on anti-G generators and are used for public transport in the lower layers of the polis. Their area of operation is commonly referred to as Low City. Polis, from the Greek polis, a fortified site, an enormous city. Aside from bioestates, polis are the only human settlements on Earth. They are made up of thousands of high towers, even several kilometers tall, connected with walkways known for their arch design. Construction of polis began in the middle of the 2070s. They arose from the ruins of enormous cities. Now they are usually surrounded by rings of skyliners and hidden behind ABBs. I'm guessing there was a war. Alright, so I first listened about harvest time from Bob Zappa, not from Zepranator. What is the Technocumenat? Termination of employment. So he's unemployed now? Hold on, I'll read this later. Not now. I'm not in the mood to read the codex. Vox Populi. Fame is no longer a tool that serves you. It is you who serves others. You know best what arguments will convince people, especially if it's about protecting the weak. Your knowledge of the law and the human psyche makes you capable of changing people's minds. Mindfluencer. As masters of manipulation say, everything is a sale. From a certain point of view, they are right. Anything can be sold if you know how, and you do know. You know all the methods of persuasion. Your knowledge, experience, and connections enable you to create an argumentative mix that is hard to resist. Street Hound. Programmer. You know the Chitong programming language, so when you check the code, you can understand it, find bugs, and apply modifications. In both Realium and Virtualia, everything is programmable, so there is practically no object you cannot alter. Kenjo says, "You're a bit late. I was going to go in alone, but then I saw you get out of the cab." This is the moment, right, Chief? We'll get the bad guys and kick their asses. I knew being a game deck would be more thrilling than Goodabots. Fudge, I feel like a real detective. But you are the one with experience, Chief. Lead the way. We go in guns blazing, right? Wawipopo says, "Not with guns blazing, Ken. We don't know what's inside or how strong the door is. If it's reinforced, all we will do is alert." Kenjo says, "You're right, cautiously. With some guns blazing. I go in, you cover me." Before I could answer, he threw himself against the door. Oh shit, who are these guys? Kenjo. Before I could answer, he threw himself against the door. He was strong. He hit it with so much force, he smashed the lock to pieces. Kenjo says, "Get him." Him? Who is him? Who is this? Camellia. Oh, the outlaw. Camellia says, "You found us, amazing." Wawipopo says, "Who are you, by the way?" "My name's Camellia. In the game I was known as the outlaw. It's good we managed to work things out. You've managed to get here. I feel silly for not entirely believing in you. In harvest time, you were the only person who stood up to the sheriff. You tried to run. Kenjo says, that took guts, respect. Camellia says, I was terrified, but I so wanted to see what was in harvest time outside our town. They show off these amazing things in each update, and when Kid wouldn't let us. Will I be allowed to see all of harvest time now? Wawipopo says, of course, you'll be able to sightsee to your heart's content, and you won't have to hide anymore. Camellia smiled. Wawipopo says, it's awfully empty here. No one's using the couches, or the beds for that matter. Where are the other children? Camellia says, Kid told everyone to log out. He was livid. So some kids hid and are waiting for it to pass. They'll come out when they're no longer afraid. So Kid is Mr. Lepski's real name. I see. Wawipopo says, where is Sheriff? Billy. Camellia says, we call him Kid. He's in the office, upstairs. I saw him deleting some stuff from his computer. Kenjo says, that means he hasn't escaped. Perfect. We'll enter his office guns blazing. Wawipopo says, I have to take care of some things. Camellia says, please be careful with Kid, the sheriff. Don't trust him. What a Frankenstein job. These couches were welded together by some low city whiz. No amount of money would convince me to use them. No one was using them at that moment. The sheriff had enough time to wake up all the children. Everything was connected with shared wiring. There was probably a single computer overseeing it all. The couches had exposed cables sticking out of them. Ak Thompson says, kids, take cover. We've got a bum invasion on our hands. Dog Trucks Up says, this must be Mad Dog, right? The guy bit the tip of his tongue. He was in the mood for a brawl. An electric knuckle duster flashed on his clenched fist. Ak Thompson says, look, dog. It's that Gamedec from Harvest Time I told you about. Kid was right. They did track him down. The fudge you want. Dominate and arrest? Intimidate them? Re-educator. Yeah, why not? Dominates and arrest. Gentlemen, we are in an apartment that was the scene of a crime. Minors were forced to perform illegal labor and given illicit psychoactive substances, as well as made to use forbidden programs that speed up virtual time. I gave them a nasty smile. In total, your sentence will be to spend up to 30 years in prison. Dog Trucks Up says, fuck me, Ak. I told you the cops would show up. Let's bounce. Ak Thompson says, Hold on, Doug. It's just a game deck. Wawipopo says, I was hoping you'd mouth off, bum. It gives me a reason to use a more direct method of persuasion. Oh. Alright. Kenjo says, Chief, that was amazing. You're my hero. I look at the children. There was fear in their eyes and sparks of satisfaction. Come on, let's find the sheriff. He was the only kid that didn't get scared. He seemed overly excited. Tom says, Mr. Gamedec, oh wow. I've never seen anything like that. Only games have those wham-bam animations. They had no choice and they are strong and scary, but they were scared of you. You have to go up, he's upstairs. Oh, I'm Stanley by the way, I mean Tom. I forgot to tell you. Oh, this kid is Stanley? I see. Tom says, I was afraid, but you did fine. You can handle a kid too. You showed them. We knew that you must be good with all those likes under your profile, and that you'd find us. I heard his jaw crunch when he got hit. And yesterday we had no dinner, and they laughed. Well, who's laughing now? Because the investigation had to lead you here, I knew it. Wait. And I knew I didn't have to say anything, because you'd figure it all out. I mean, you can tell who's bad and who's good here. They were dirty and hunched over like any villain in a game. If someone looks like that, you know they're bad. I knew you'd figure it out. Wait, I have a bad feeling that Tom is actually trying to stall me. He's trying to buy some time for Kid to escape. Interrupt. Wait, I wanted to. Tom wouldn't listen. He was too excited. Tom says, that was epic, like the raid event. But it only comes once a year in harvest time, 'cause it's too epic to have it more often. And then there are wild horses stampeding to hide the raid. People say wild horses are an omen. But they neigh and stomp, and an omen wouldn't neigh, right? Everyone knows omens don't neigh. Hold on. Is he trying to buy time for Kid to escape? Should I yell at him? Ken lost it. Kenjo says, Stanley. Tom says, what? Where's the sheriff? Tom says, oh, upstairs. I think he tried to run away from you. Kenjo says, Chief, let's be quick, shall we? Sir? What does the sheriff look like? Describe him. Tom says he's big, much bigger than us. He's got long hair and smiles often, but not in a friendly way. And he's cheeky and skinny and walks fast. And he sometimes talks weirdly, like what's up or see ya, like old people. Kenjo says, but what does he look like? Tom says, well, I told you. Kenjo says, alright, easy. What kind of hair does he have? Tom says, dirty. Wawipopo says, where's the sheriff? Tom says, upstairs. I think he tried to run away from you. Kenjo says, we should go, boss, quickly. Stanley, is there another way out? Tom says, oh yeah, I mean, I don't know about the way out because we're not allowed in the office ever. It's for grown-ups only. But you've got to be fast, like a duel in harvest time. Except in the game, the good guys are always inside, and they shoot to defend. The bad guys try to get inside, and here we are the good guys. We should be inside, but it's always all wrong in Low City. Well, where aren't you going? Wabipopo says, "Thank you, Stanley. I mean Tom. We're going upstairs now. We'll be right back." Kenjo says, "You're right, Chief. We need to find the sheriff quickly." "Sir?" I don't have time to listen to him. "Is this guy alive?" "Yeah, this guy is alive. The one that the Gamedec smashed his head on the railing." "That's the Gamedec? He's the one who saved us?" "I don't know, Hilda. It will soon be over." It looked like a children's farm for leveling characters, except harvest time is about loot boxes, not the level of your avatar. Bunk beds, so the work was probably done in shifts, around the clock. Wonderful business idea. They look more like messy blanket piles than beds. "Sir, there's one more upstairs." Crates. The crates had the Nanette Foundation logo on them. They were stacked crookedly, and some of them had been dumped on the floor. I looked inside. Cheap game pills and infusion liquids. As far as I could tell, there was more Virtualia pharmacology here than food. I left the mess alone. The Nanette Foundation crates were scattered all over the place. No one seemed to care about keeping things orderly. Samantha says, "Yo, Mr. Gamedec. Dang, you look the same as in harvest time. Lol, no one does that. Why are you staring? It's me, Silly Sally. The one who's speaking lit?" Wabipopo says, "Silly Sally, were you the one using that letter and digit code?" Samantha says, "Dang right, it's me. It's cool you came, but be careful. Outsiders are fudged here. It's dangerous." Wabipopo says, "You seem out of sorts while you were playing. How are you feeling?" Samantha says, "Once I logged out, I basically fell on my ass. I was so out of it. But that's like normal, happens to everyone. It's cool now." Wabipopo says, "You said this place was dangerous for outsiders." Samantha says, "No one comes here because they want to, like ever. They have to be brought in by dog or ack. One time a guy in an anti-G harness wandered in here. Dog kicked his ass so hard, he looked like a bad hacksaw. You've probably dealt with them already, but Kid is upstairs and I reckon Ack and Dog have nothing on him." Wabipopo says, "Where's the sheriff?" Samantha says, "Yo, he's upstairs, I told you. Do adults have like 0 skill points in listening?" "Is that Kid?" Ken stopped me when I was about to open the door. "Chief, I know I may look like a total pro, but I've never caught anyone, in Realium I mean, nor interrogated anyone. Any tips before we go in?" Wawipopo says, first of all, the investigator led us here, but we don't know who's behind all of this. Let's get the guy who acts as the sheriff in the game, interrogate him and find out what's going on. Tell Ken to watch the sheriff. Watch him closely, try to remember what he says and how. If he lies, he should be inconsistent. Lying requires a very good memory. Kenjo says, that's very smart, Chief, I'll try. I leave the talking to you. I will listen and learn. Kenjo says, hands up, mother fudger. Prepare for justice. Ken realized that was too much. Sorry, Chief. I got carried away. Kid says, wow, is this how the sheriff looks like in real life? Interesting. Kid says, hiya, you're out of luck guys, the boss is gone. He heard you coming and jumped out the window. He told me to stay and clean up here. Kenjo says, it's just some kid. Kid says, it's good that you're here. I'll go check on your friends. Kid headed for the exit. Wawipopo says, stop bullfising. I know you're the sheriff. A proud smile spread across Kid's face. But I almost convinced you, right? I can even get one over a Gamedec. Ask who he is. Wawipopo says, who are you by the way? Kid says, a low city kid like the ones downstairs. I'm just not as naive and defenseless as them. Nobody else could have wrapped their head around this idea. The setup was so tight, a fly couldn't get squeezed through, whatever that is. Kenjo says he's proud of it. Kid says, of course, everything was going great until the punks called a Gamedec. Wawipopo says, I see that you believe everything's working perfectly here. How exactly does this thing work? Kenjo says, using slave labor. Kid says, what? Are you going to take all the kids home and take care of them? You and your kind little heart didn't give a fudge until somebody paid you. And they paid you because they are making money. Instead of doing drugs and roaming the walkways without supervision, they are here together learning how to make money. I'm proud of that. Wawipopo says, one kid felt so bad here that she tried to run away. Okay, her plan was strange, as she lay here all along, but that screams of desperation. Kenjo says, that's right, slave master. If they are so happy, then why are they running and hiding? Where are those kiddos anyway? And I'm assuming... hold on, what was I saying? Kid says, use your brain, idiot. The kids can leave anytime they want. The door's open. You'd notice that if you had used the handle. Yeah, they run away, but only inside harvest time. They don't want to leave the mushroom. They want to stay and keep playing. As long as they are here, they need to follow the rules. If I let them slack, they won't learn discipline, and the program won't profit. Wawipopo says, in harvest time I saw a guard keeping track of the working kids' every move. Kid says, we check up on them to see what they're doing. It's called quality assurance. Kenjo says, it's called child abuse. Kid says, they are street brats. Do you think they'll do what they're supposed to if you leave them unsupervised? We need to keep an eye on them. That's how we make money. We can feed them and give them access to the game. Everybody wins. Wawipopo says, kids crowded together and working in a dilapidated hovel, below even the lowest of low cities levels. Are you really proud of this? Kid says, they are brats from the low city walkways. We feed them, give them a place to sleep, access to nature, fresh air, on a farm no less. So, Kenjo says, you force them to work, you son of a bitch. You're stealing their childhoods. We're gonna kick your asses. Kid says, walkways are dirty and dangerous. Kids are starving. Are these the childhoods we're stealing from them, pal? Come the fudge on. We teach them to earn and sell their loot, for one, to keep this place going. But game pills from the foundation. Buy pills from the foundation. We are their only chance. Wawipopo says, that's enough for now. Kenjo says, Chief, he's not showing any remorse. I feel it in my gut that he's not gonna learn unless we graciously beat the fudge out of him. Kenjo says, this isn't how we were supposed to serve justice. Wawipopo says one more thing. I wanted to ask you how this whole thing works. Kid says, ask away. I'm proud of what I have achieved. That's enough for now. Wawipopo says, we've come here to solve your problem. The kids called us because they were miserable. Kid says, and didn't they tell you they want to play more? 'Cause unusually they do. They have it better in harvest time than they would on the streets. We all just want to make some money and escape poverty. Wawipopo says, these children are overusing pharmacological substances, stimulants, and... Kenjo says, you are turning them into junkies. Kid says, what exactly do you think they've been doing on the walkways, huh? At least here, they only take game pills and some vitamins, no nasty stuff. Believe me, I'd notice. They wouldn't be able to work. Wawipopo says, you made the kids use a speed boost cheat. Kid says, we all use it sometimes. Why do you think nobody can beat the sheriff in a duel? Anyway, the kids slack off, then use the cheat on themselves and their plans to catch up and make money. Well, we all gotta make a living. Ken's face turned red. What did you say? On themselves? But that can accelerate the aging process. Chief, that can cause Alzheimer's syndrome, accelerated aging. The organism works at full power and it gets worn out. That's messed up. Kid says, what's the alternative? Starving in low city? Better to get old a little faster, but actually get to live, to survive, don't you get it? Scalpel remind him of the destructive effects of the syndrome. Wawipopo says, Alzheimer's syndrome can have irreversible effects in children. Growth disorders, endocrine gland disorders. It could be disastrous for them. They can experience lifelong chronic pain. They'll get old much faster, which means they live shorter lives. Do you not understand? Kid says, at least they'll be happier. They'll actually have something that's theirs. We don't force anyone to work for us. Low City does. Wawipopo says, the kids complain about strange symptoms, pain, confusion, weakness. Do you think it's acceptable? Take a look inside the boxes. They're filled with supplements and all sorts of medicine. They wouldn't be able to work if they were sick. Kenjo says, you little feces. You are taking advantage of those kids and you can't even call for a doctor? Kid says, what, are you gonna pay for that? The foundation doesn't check on us or help us. No earnings, no doctor. That's why we discipline them. But of course, these fudging idiots took part of the money and hired a Gamedec. What you are teaching the kids is how to cheat. That's why they get disconnected. Kenjo says, you are leading kids down the wrong path. You're old enough to know how that ends, aren't you? Kid says, it turned out pretty well for me. True, I have to watch over these little shits, but at least I'm making a living. For me, that's a win. We give them cheats so that the whole operation pays off. It's not my fault that they use them more than often than prescribed. Use them more often than prescribed. We do what we can to control it, but there's only so much we can do. Besides, they keep wanting more. I see. Shit, my eyelids. My eyelids are starting to close. It feels heavy. I think I need sleep. Wawipopo says, alright, that's enough for me. One more thing, I wanted to ask you how this whole thing works. Ask away, I'm proud of what I've achieved. Since the head of the foundation, that is Nanette Doucette, right? I took out my walktel, opened a command window and dialed Nanette's number. Let's see what the head of this operation has to say about this. Nanette Doucette says, hello there, Gamedec. Is this the moment you'd like me to return the favor? Wawipopo says, listen, Nanette, I'm in the mushroom right now. It's one of those 100-year-old structures abandoned by the builders of the polis. Nanette says, I know what mushrooms are. Well, have you found anything interesting in there? Yeah, the headquarters of Nanette's Gardens is a dump, a stinky, creepy slum. Nanette Doucette says, what? But how? I rented this nice place. Wawipopo says, the kids are addicted to the game. They do nothing but play all day. It doesn't seem healthy. Nanette says, I had no idea. This cannot go on. I'll take care of it right away. These children need care and attention. Just please don't inform the police. An official investigation could paralyze my foundation. I wouldn't be able to help those kids. Wawipopo says, "You had plenty of time to take care of this. I don't know. I need to understand the situation better before I make a decision." "I need some information. Tell me, Lian. I mean Nanette. What is Nanette's Gardens exactly? What do you do?" Nanette says, "It's a type of play therapy that combines work and fun. We rehabilitate kids from low city by teaching them collaboration and empathy. Harvest time is ideal for that. It's free. Lets you work in the fresh air, experience nature, watch plants grow, even if only virtually." "Who's responsible for supervising the foundation?" Nanette says, "I am obviously, but I entrusted Mr. Lebsky with the harvest time division called Nanette's Gardens. He's a very capable manager. He promised to take care of the kids, and he kept his word. The reports show his division is doing better and better. I'm currently working on our next project, a cancer hospital. Too many sick children, too few sponsors. I don't have time for other things. Luckily, I have Lebsky taking care of my gardens." Wawipopo says, Where are the headquarters of Nanette's Gardens? I mean in Realium, not harvest time." Nanette says, "I rented a modest place in the host tower, right above Low City. I can afford more, but it's clean, spacious, even has some more natural light." Well, Wawipopo says, "What about the financial aspect? Is the foundation supposed to profit from that?" Nanette says, "Absolutely not. After all, we're financing a bigger part of the program ourselves. We donated couches. We send them Nutri-Fluid and game pills, and even cover a part of their living expenses. We are a foundation, not a company." She seemed to be genuinely outraged by my question. I was a professional liar, so I would have known if she wasn't telling the truth. "Thank you, Nanette." Further questioning seemed pointless. I could hear it in her voice that she had no idea what was going on. "Thank you, Nanette. Say goodbye." "That's all. Thank you, Nanette." Nanette says, "Thank you for telling me this, Gamedec. I am once again asking you, please let me fix my mistake and take care of these children. Let me know when you decide, I beg you." Wawipopo says, "We've heard what the kid had to say. What do you think, Ken?" Kenjo says, "I'm not sure, Chief. We learn in harvest time it's the sheriff who's responsible for the kids' problems. And the sheriff is this punk right here. He's not even trying to hide it. We need to separate the kids from him." Kid says, "Regardless of whatever the fudge you think, you don't have a choice. If you call the police, these kids will end up in juvie or on walkways." "I would say the latter. You are going to leave them alone in Low City? They'll be much worse off than here." Kid smiled cheekily. "Unless you want to take them in and raise them? No? Well, fine. I know how to take care of them. Wawipopo says, I'll call the foundation. I'm sure Nanette will take care of the children, if she gives them her attention, that is. Kenjo says, right, they'll be taken care of. I was starting to feel like a hero, but then I realized that I don't know anything about kids. Good call. Alrighty, Chief, I'll sense them and take care of everything. Ken opened a private window and chose a number. His lips started to move, but I couldn't hear anything. Kit headed for the exit. Kenjo says, where do you think you're going, punk? You're the one responsible for this whole mess. Kit says, so what? I'm a minor. You wouldn't do anything to a minor, would you? Kenjo says, how about we fudge him up anyway, Chief? Introduce him to the holy punishing hand of justice. I'm itching to beat the crap out of him. Should I shoot the kid? I don't know. Trap him in a speed boost. Wawipopo says, Kid, you like using speed boosts and don't give a fudge that they accelerate aging, right? You won't mind experiencing it yourself then. We'll trap you in a cheat like that, and the kids will decide when to turn it off. Kid says, please no, they're clueless. It'll kill me. Kenjo says, don't worry, punk. You wanted to be an adult, this will help. If someone takes pity on you and gets you out, you can run a real business, not a shithole like this. Say, I don't know, an old folks' home. Wait, what is Kit doing? The crates in the office appeared the same as the ones downstairs. Most of them weren't open. On some of them, I could see shipping details. I scanned the chips on several random crates. It was charity. The Nanette Foundation donated them to Nanette Gardens, free of charge. Judging from the delivery dates, it was a common practice. They were always collected by Mr. Smart. Who is this Mr. Smart? Someone else would handle this. Nanette Foundation crates, they took up most of the office space. There was an ancient computer on the desk. Turn it on. I wondered what he had on his computer. There was nothing on it, not even an operating system. Kit had deleted everything. Kit's computer had seen better days. What about the kid? Is he going to be okay? Wait, who are these? Oh, the children. Tom says, Sir, what will happen to us now? Who's going to take care of us now? You won't leave us alone, will ya? Wawipopo says, Nanette will take care of you. Remember her? The kids started talking over one another, cries of joy mingled with words of astonishment. Camellia says, "But can we stay together here?" Tom says, "Can we see other games and not get locked out anymore?" Jacek says, "What if they separate us and ban us from playing?" Kit always told us what to do. Who will tell us now? Wawi Popo says, "The Foundation's objective is to help you. I'm sure you will stay together and in a nicer place too, and you'll have more fun." Tom says, "Fun? We can play just for fun, and we can keep some basic loot for ourselves once in a while." Kenjo says, "You can keep all the loot in Harvest Time and other games too." Tom's face brightened. "That's so cool, thank you, Gamedec." Kenjo says, "Very cool indeed. We did quite well. We should wait for somebody to take over here, and then we need to talk. Let's celebrate our success, analyze our mistakes, and discuss what to do next. War meeting at your place, Chief, 8 o'clock sharp." So Kenjo is inviting himself into my place. Alright. I'm so sleepy. I need to sleep. I need to save and stop and sleep. Oh no, another event. Please no. Please says, "Good evening, you two. Welcome home. The time is perfect. Temperature normal." Wawi Popo says, "Can meet please. She's my major domo." Kenjo says, "She's cool, Chief. Hi there, translucent." Please says, "Kenjo, a good-best player and one of the few players in the world who can play for 15 seconds at the 19th level of pain. He's been the most efficient attacker for the last 2 seasons." Ken looked at me, content. She knows everything about me. Intellectual personality, great choice, Chief. I want to save the game. I want to sleep. Give me a chance, please. Wawi Popo says, "Would you like something to drink?" Kenjo says, "Sure. What should we have?" Wawi Popo says, "Maybe tea?" Kenjo says, "Yeah, we need to rinse our neurons after what happened in that mushroom underlow city. But let's focus on our next investigation. Did you notice I said our, Chief? Did you notice those 2 trippy girls in TNP? The ones that were chatting people up? They seemed strange, so I talked to them. It turned out they were recruiting people into a clan in a different game. Wait, it gets better. This clan believes in some crazy-ass stuff too. They are also obsessed with the number 314. I think they're a cult. So you see?" Kenjo looked at me as though he was waiting for questions. Wawi Popo says, What's the deal with them and the number 314? I feel like I've heard something about it before." Kenjo says, "At first I thought it was just a reference to the number pi, but there's more to it, Chief. I gotta say, it gives me the creeps. You know, it's like whenever I see this number or even hear anything about it, something happens. Don't fudging laugh at me." Popo says, I'm not. Don't dismiss it. You're feeling something, that's a fact. It might just be your emotions, but it might be something else too. Kenjo says, worth investigating, right? That's what I thought. 'Cause Chief, I kind of believe there might be something mystical going on here. It's like when I see 314, it feels like a sign that was put there especially for me, like I'm special. Strange, isn't it? What if the clan knows that I'm interested in them and they reprogram my walktail and my lenses? Worth investigating. Popo says, what do you know about this clan? Kenjo says, they're called the Han clan. Apparently Han means book. It's in their emblem. A book in front of a tree. Okay. They play MMOs, keep talking about meditation, observations, and stuff like that. Even more than about fighting and territories. I mean, Chief, when they fight for real. They know how to play. But as soon as those girls realized I had money, they told me I was special and that my spiritual path leads to the clan. Suspicious, huh? Popo says, what is the tree of knowing? Kenjo says, well, I'm not sure yet, but I'm really interested in finding out. You see, this gadang tree is what somebody used to destroy my career. What? How? Kenjo continues, they are never specific about the tree. It's some kind of artifact. Apparently it only appears once in a while. It's a big deal for them. They say the tree gives them the truth and inspiration and sends some signal things. Kinda seems like they get high a lot. Suspicious, huh? Popo says, has somebody hired you for this investigation? Kenjo says, not really. I'm working on my own. You do know that Gamedec's get hired, discuss their remuneration with the client, and only then begin their investigation, right? Kenjo says, this one's an exception. Well, the second exception. The first was harvest time. I hired myself to find out who killed my career. Somebody's got to find the culprit. Are you in, Chief? Yeah, why not? Alright, this might be too difficult for you to handle on your own. Kenjo says, awesome. We'll be like a Goodabouts team, but in Realium and in all the other games in the world. Popo says, why did you become interested in them? Kenjo says, during that game, when I rage quit, those fudging trolls weren't the only thing I saw in that space rip. There was also a tree. I mean, what the fudge was that, right? But when I heard that the clan worships a tree of knowing, I figured it might help me understand. I did some online research, and it turns out their sacred tree of knowing looks exactly like the one I saw during the game. That's my lead, Chief, my lead to finding the fudgers that ruined my career. Popo says, enough about the clan, Ken. Oh my god, more conversation. I need to save. I need to sleep. What it's like to be an esports player? Kenjo says, as in a Goodabouts player, well, you need to be a bit of a masochist. When the pain is at 10, it's like being operated on without anesthesia. Really? That sucks. Kenjo continues. At 15, some players start tripping when the endorphins kick in. I can go as far as 19. It's hard to describe heaven, hell, both at once. This reminds me of the Hellraiser movie. I think he said something like, um, I'm not sure about the phrase. I don't remember. Something like the ultimate ecstasy is pain or something like that. I'm not sure. Kenjo continues. They say Peter Crash kites can go up to 20 thanks to meditation and some other wizardry. Me? I like to feel everything. It turns me on. Wait, what? It turns him on? So he is a masochist. Wow, okay. Do you really want to be turned on by pain? I'm worried he might do stuff that might result in damage or permanent damage. Maybe I should persuade him to reconsider? Or should I, you know, say something to put me on his good side? Maybe I should say something to be on his good side, right? Wawipopo says, you seem to know yourself pretty well, kiddo. You're honest. It's impressive. Kenjo says, you can lie to others, but not to yourself, chief. Wawipopo says, so what? Do you like my bliss? Go on. Ask her a question. Kenjo says, alright, bliss. What's more real, matter or information? Bliss says, matter is a catch-all that describes an illusion. Reality is but an emanation of mathematical rules. Particles are mathematics. It's all information. Oh, okay. Ben put his hands around his head, widened his eyes, and pretended that his skull was exploding. She's brilliant. Wawipopo says, listen, I see this whole game deck thing really interests you. Would you like to hear more about this job? Kenjo says, sure, chief, I'm all ears. Bliss says, I guess I'll listen too. Well, it has no benefits really. No pension, no vacation, no sick leave. When there's work, you make money. When there isn't, you starve. Well, just like any other work, right? Kenjo says, sounds wonderful. Wawipopo says, that's because you're young. But sure, have a go at it. Just remember what I told you because Bliss says, what seems wonderful at first might turn out to be a completely different kind of wonder. But it's better to try and find out, I guess. Yeah, something like that, says Wawipopo. Wawipopo says, you've done your first detective case. You should be proud of yourself, Ken. Kenjo says, Chief, it was amazing. I feel like the king of the world. I think we should always work together. Ken finished talking before I managed to cut in. No problem, Chief. That's why we're a team. Together, we're even more awesome than we are separate. This guy is just deciding things by himself, yeah? He didn't even ask about my opinion on this. Wawipopo says, let's have a drink. Kenjo says, I'm not sure if I can drive my new mobile after all those drinks. Offer to let him crash? Suggest taking a taxi? Yeah, I'm not gonna let him crash here. Suggest taking a taxi. Wawipopo says, Bliss can call an Auro taxi for you. Kenjo says, good idea. I need to follow a certain clue tomorrow morning. I'll pick up the vehicle first thing. Ken finish talking before I manage to cut in. Alright, with every new day came new challenges. Ken wanted to meet and talk about his case. We hadn't discussed the time and place though. Sans Ken. No answer. I wondered if Bliss knew anything. Alright, time to save. I'm so sleepy.